Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering how does ghostwriting work. This is the writing approach that every book should follow. And keeping these steps in mind should save you tons of time and effort as you write your book. By the end of this video, you will learn how to make the best use of meetings, the value of transcription tools, and how the right system can help you make consistent progress. And stay tuned until the end of the video for a free gift. Let's dive in. A lot of times when people think of ghostwriting, they think of somebody just going off and writing for somebody else, that there's no collaboration, there's no connection involved. I've actually heard stories about some of these books where a celebrity will be enlisting the help of a ghostwriter. The ghostwriter will have very limited time, maybe an afternoon, to talk to the author, and then they will just go off and write the book without any input and any feedback. And that's such a weird process. That's such a weird approach, and not one that I would recommend as somebody who's ghostwritten 25 or more books. Ghostwriting is more than just, though, taking note of things and just being a stenographer. It's really about bringing out the best version of a story. When I talk about stenographer, it's basically somebody who just takes notes. They just transcribe something. A transcriptionist. This is more than that. This is a collaborative process. This is a give and take. This is about being present and in the moment and bringing your best to the story no matter what. It's interesting, when I first start working with somebody as a ghostwriter, whether it's article writing or book writing, it takes time to get to know them. Ghostwriting in a lot of ways feels like a relationship. It's a long-term process, it can be. It's a give and take. It's really about bringing out your best and helping somebody else bring out the best in themselves. And I really value the chance to be able to work with people over the course of time. At the early going, when we first start working together, it takes time to feel comfortable. It takes time to understand, what their mindset is, what they're trying to accomplish, what they're trying to say, and how their voice works, how they tell stories, the unique message that they're trying to share. But as you work with somebody over the course of months and years, you get so much sharper and smarter at telling their story and sharing their message. You almost think and feel in terms of the way they do. You can finish their sentences. It's interesting because after a while, after I've been ghostwriting for somebody for a while, it almost feels like I can write on their behalf. Like I actually know what they want to say, and we'll actually meet and talk about it. And sometimes they'll wonder, like, what is my message? What is the message I'm trying to say? And then I'll actually explain it to them. You want to say this and this and this. I have one person I work with a lot. I've collaborated with them over the course of multiple projects, and they will send me email drafts of like, oh, I want to reach out to this person. Is this good? And I'm like, okay, well, let's table this. Let's focus on something else. Let's take this message in a different direction. What are your key points that you want to share? What is the thing that you can say uniquely to the world? How is the best way to bring it forward? It's not always hitting somebody over the head with information and facts. It's getting to the emotion, getting the heart of it. And I love that give and take. I love to be able to get there with somebody. Because when you're first starting with a ghostwriter, it does take time. It takes time to get their pacing down, their voice down, their feelings down, their worldview, just understanding where they're coming from. All those things take time and effort, but just a neat give and take process to be able to build that rapport and build that connection to be able to get to that next level. I remember one of the clients I worked with for a couple years, and they were a CEO of a food company. And the first couple times we started working together, I spent a lot of time reading what they'd already written, what they've already published, the things that they wanted to say. And from that, I was able to glean some key points, and I was able to really build rapport with them as I started meeting with them and talking through different topics. So they would have a project that they wanted me to write, an essay or an article, and I would do research and come to them with questions, and we would have a conversation and talk it through. I would take that conversation and those answers and help to turn that into the article. Take little pieces of it, rewrite it, refine it, polish it, tell it in the most powerful way. And it was great. And as we kept moving forward, it got faster and faster and more efficient, to the point where it would really be just little pieces. I would send them a draft. Hey, we need an essay about this. Great. Sent it along, and then it would just be refining little key points. It's great when you can build that rapport, that give and take with somebody, and see it through. When I'm writing a book with somebody, we really focus on three things at the beginning of that process: hook, audience, and outline. The hook is really the why. It's the elevator pitch. It's what's the reader going to take away from this. The outline is the scope of the project, and the audience is the target. Who is going to read this? Who's going to take away some powerful lessons from this? Working on those elements, in essence, is a roadmap for the project ahead. It really sets the groundwork for what's in the future. And it's really, even though articles are a smaller focus of that, a smaller piece of that, I really think about those things with article writing too. The hook, why should somebody read this? What are they going to take away from it? The audience, who wants to read this? And the outline, how do you want to tell the story? I mean, those things are universal, whether it's article writing or book writing, even if the effort put into it for an article is going to be smaller because it's a smaller canvas to work on. You're really focusing on those core elements either way with the story process. And a ghostwriter, working with a ghostwriter, can help to bring those elements out in ways that you might not even be thinking about. A lot of times when I work with somebody, whether it's article writing or book writing, I'm helping them to connect the dots. I'm helping them to bring these pieces out and asking them questions about things that I would want to know as the reader. Keeping that reader focus as you work with a ghostwriter can just make your message that much stronger and that much sharper. A lot of times in life, it's about being able to share your message succinctly, getting to the point, really understanding what you want to say. When somebody asks you what you do, what your company does, you should have a quick answer. And the book writing or article writing is the same way. What's the story that you're telling? You should have an answer in a sentence or two. It should be a very straightforward thing. And working with a ghostwriter can actually help you refine that message and sharpen it as much as possible. When I work on a book project, it typically involves consistent meetings. The cadence of those meetings changes. Sometimes it's weekly. I'd like to have them weekly. Sometimes it's every other week. With some people, it's once a month. And I find that when it's once a month, too many things fall through the cracks. There's too much time that's lapsed between meetings. There's not enough connection. It just feels disconnected. So it feels like every single time you're meeting again for the first time, or like picking up, like it takes 20 minutes to get into it. When you're meeting every week or every other week, it feels more straightforward. It feels like you're falling into it easier, and you can really jump into the conversation quicker instead of catching up, where are we? You really don't want to ask, where are we? But a lot of times if you're spending a month between meetings, you need to have that time. Where are we? And then it becomes a different kind of conversation. From those meetings, you can then take the recordings of them and help to turn them into writing or chapters. It's the best way that I've found to be able to capture somebody's voice, to really bring home their message, to tell their story in the best way possible, is to record their words and to use them. Not to just be a stenographer, not just to put down words that they used, but really think about what they said and then tell the best story possible. By using those meetings and using those recordings, you can then build cadence and synchronicity with the project. You're making consistent progress, which is one of the hardest things as an author, is maintaining progress. Half the time with writing a book, the battle is simply continuing forward. So many things happen in life in which we put our book aside, things get in the way, work is busy, family life is busy, everything is pulling us away from working on the book. And the beauty of ghostwriting is that the book can keep moving and keep building momentum as you have your busy life. That's really the benefit of ghostwriting above all else. It's making the most of your time so you can be present in meetings, so you can give your best to that hour every week or every other week. Your ghostwriter can then go and take those meetings and build momentum with these things, basically using them as a building block to then build your story into chapters and into a book. I've had projects where I felt disconnected as a ghostwriter. The client was off, unavailable to meet, or they were too busy, or they were just giving me recordings and I was writing the book based on recordings, which I've done. Not ideal. Didn't love it, wouldn't recommend it. I really prefer that give and take. I really prefer to be able to have conversations and talk through the topics, because by talking through those topics, you can really iron out the flaws, the issues, the wrinkles. You can confront issues head on and talk through them. I feel like so many times when people want to cut corners on the writing process, they spend twice as long in editing because they really now have to fix problems. You know, they didn't confront and address issues during the writing process, and now they need to be fixed in order to proceed with the book. So I do feel like that ghostwriting collaboration, it's just so important to be able to have that give and take. And that comes with time and it comes with trust. But being able to build trust with your ghostwriter can help you write the best book or article possible. All right, now that you've learned all about how ghostwriting works, I have a free gift for you. I want to invite you to a free course that I recorded with one of my book collaborators, Nate Woodbury. We talked all about book writing and ghostwriting from both sides of the equation, from author and ghostwriter. By listening to that course, by watching that course, it can really help you understand all of the pain points, all of the struggles, the ups and downs, some of the reasons why ghostwriting is great, some of the struggles that people have had with ghostwriting, just all about the process, and I know that you're going to take away so much from it. The course is called Good Book Blueprint. Just head to goodbookblueprint.com. You can click the link below and learn all about book ghostwriting and publishing. Remember, good ghostwriting makes great books. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.